Hi, my name is Haley Rowan, and I'm going to be giving a speech on selective perception and the effect that it has on society. The general purpose of this speech is to mainly just inform you guys about what selective perception is and why it could be harmful. So, first of all, selective perception is dangerous to society because it causes people to live very closed-minded. The definition itself explains that it causes us not to understand things outside of our own personal beliefs. And this has caused a lot of problems, I believe, in society today, where we only think the way that we want to instead of listening to other people's point of views. And that is what we are teaching our youth to think like. And so that is why I felt the need to give this speech. So, first of all, the definition in itself explains that it is closed-minded. And I'm going to give a little piece of something that R. Kelly Garrett, an Ohio State University professor, wrote in a book about selective process, exposure, perception, and memory. So he says, first, individuals fail to notice or they misperceive information that does not match their own beliefs. For example, individuals tend to think that the positions held by a favored candidate or party mirror their own and will misinterpret evidence to the contrary rather than updating their views. So basically it's just saying that instead of listening to both sides and coming up with our own personal belief based on issues that we care about, we listen to our favored candidate or party and choose to just agree and accept whatever they believe and say. Second of all, individuals frequently accept the evidence supporting their opinions without hesitation, but will scrutinize information that challenges their position carefully, critiquing the methods by which data was collected and analyzed. So that was also a piece of something that was written by R. Kelly Garrett. And it is difficult, in my opinion, to have a biased point of view on this topic because the definition in itself is explaining that it is closed-minded, and I believe that that could be dangerous. Our memory can also affect our perception because we will perceive and remember things based on how we remember it, and not always do we have a great memory. So that can sometimes cause difficult perception. Second of all, selective perception is affecting our country, and the best example would be politics. So I'm going to attach an image of a political comic, and in this picture, it is talking about how Sarah Palin is running and talking about like no sex education, abstinence, yet her daughter is standing behind her pregnant and she's saying, I'm a private matter. So in that way, it is kind of explaining like I'm supporting my mother and I'm a part of her beliefs, yet in herself, it contradicts what the belief says. So instead of thinking for herself, she's thinking the way that she is brought up to think, and she is supporting her mother because that is her belief. So to me, that's not, I don't want to bring politics into it for argumentative reasons or anything. It's just, that is the best example to explain what it is and why it has a negative effect. Last, selective perception is something that we teach our children. And when we teach it to our children, they pass it on to their children, into their children. And when children hear their parents talking at home, they believe everything they say, which is normal, they're children. But that's why it's important to kind of introduce multiple points of views because it'll reduce the risk of just complete selective perception and biased point of view. So in conclusion, again, selective perception is a problem to the world and to our current nation because it causes us to think very close-minded, it divides our nations, and it is something that we pass on to our youth to continue. So thank you for listening.